So, what if I told you you never had to start over again? That you literally could reset in the next 5 minutes? Let's talk about it. On Wednesday, we talked about a big topic for me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, perfectionism, and how often perfectionism is our greatest enemy. So, today we're going to expand on that. And I know what some of you are thinking, Ashley. What if I mess up? What if I eat the cookies? What if I skip the workout? What if I fall back into old patterns that don't serve me? Today, I want to share with you what I believe is a game-changing concept, and that is the difference between resetting versus restarting and how one can literally set you free. Let's get into it. So I can't tell you guys how many times I've gotten to the end of the work week and had the plan in my mind that this weekend is going to be the weekend that I set aside those 3 hours in meal prep. And as life would have it, I absolutely get to Sunday and don't have it in me. So many times I would get to that Monday and think, man, I've really blown it. When I started to really tap into that mindset and I thought about it, I was like, you know what? This isn't working, right? This is a perpetual cycle. And my mind would say, we've already failed. Let's just start again on Monday. The difference that I really want us to think about, that I started to think about, honest, was restarting versus resetting. Now, here's the difference between the two. Restarting says, I have failed. I am a failure. I need to start back at zero all over again. Resetting says, I'm human and I can course correct right now. Do you get the difference? It's slight, but it's significant. When I think about it, the difference to me says compassion. The difference to me says grace. And when you give yourself grace, somehow, some way, pathways seem to work themselves out such that the thing that you really wanted to accomplish ends up getting done. So here's what I know. Restarting keeps you in cycles, while resetting literally builds momentum. Your body doesn't operate on a weekly schedule. It doesn't know it's Monday. Every moment is a new opportunity to nourish yourself, whether you're dealing with work emergencies, family chaos, or just life being life. When you shift from starting over to resetting in real time, it changes the game. You build resilience instead of shame. You maintain a momentum instead of completely losing it. You start to trust yourself instead of fearing failure all the time. I think it's hard for us to remember that we are not robotic. I know AI is big right now, but we are not computers that need to be rebooted. Our bodies, and one of my favorite authors says this, we are a garden and our garden needs tending. Gardens don't just start over. When things die, when things don't go the way it's supposed to go, they keep going, they keep moving. And I think we have to remind ourselves that we should be able to give ourselves the grace so we can do the same thing. So I want to talk about some practical ways that we can reset ourselves rather than restart. Again, this is something that I'm actively working out every single day, but I think there's 3 different ways that I've done it in my own life and that I think I want to share with you guys because I believe it could be helpful. So the first way is the 5-minute reset. So this is literally just when you find yourself in a moment of failure, you stop, you take 3 deep breaths, you literally interrupt the cycle of your brain telling you, dang, I just messed this up. You take some deep breaths and you redirect your mind to what it is you are trying to accomplish. So that's the 5-minute reset. You literally can do that right now. The end of day reset. For those of you who are like me, who are journalers, you get to the end of the day and this is your space to maybe journal. And I want you to reflect on your day without judgment. How did this day go? And then set one simple intention. The last type of reset is the midweek reset. So you get to Wednesday and you ask yourself what's working, what needs to adjust for the rest of the week. Now, the key thing about all of these, you have to allow yourself to be aware and you have to give yourself the grace and the permission to say, hey, things aren't going well. Let's start over. Let's reset. So here's our sweet reset for today. Think about the last time where you felt shame for missing the mark. And instead of feeling the shame, what if you had a reset in that moment? What if you allowed yourself the grace to pivot right there where you are? What would that have looked like? Practice that reset right now. Right now in this moment, I want you to practice that reset. Even if it's just taking a few deep breaths. Far too often, and you'll hear me say this all the time, far too often, we are our worst critic. We like to believe that we're our biggest fan, but that's not always the case. And the key to resetting, the key to not falling victim to perfectionism is giving yourself the grace and allowing yourself the ability to pivot and reset when necessary. I want you to practice that this week going into the weekend and see how it changes your life. See how it changes you. So that's all I have for you today. If that in any way resonated, or if you're going to activate a 5-minute reset for yourself, feel free to drop it in the comments and let us know the way that you're doing that for yourself. I would love to hear and share in that victory with you. And until next week, don't miss Monday's episode where we'll be talking about how to create healthy habits that work even when you only have 5 minutes. This is Key for all my busy folk, because busy does not have to mean unhealthy. And remember, you don't have to start over. You just have to reset and keep going. I'll see you Monday.